Imagine being part of the 1% of gym goers around the world. You think you're doing well, you're training well, you're eating well, and you think you're doing great. Then you open your phone, you go on Instagram and you see all these fitness influencers flexing their muscles and showing off their new vegan whey protein.
The protein as quick as possible into the bloodstream. A little schnapps.
You compare yourself and you wonder, why don't I look like them? Thoughts arise and you can't help but feel powerless against them. Despite being very knowledgeable about social media, we still get caught up in the 0.0001%, feeling as if we are inadequate, even though we are still in the 1% compared to the world. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about something that's quite prevalent in everyone's life, especially mine, and that is social media. Now, social media has done a lot for us over the past couple of decades. It has allowed us to connect to a wide range of people and allowed us to have many more opportunities in our life, finding new jobs or just new paths to take. Even though that has its negatives in itself, because there is a lot of decision fatigue, because there's so many things you can be now that the internet and social media has shown you these new pathways you can take. It can get very draining. Back then, before social media, it was usually like, oh, I want to do engineering, so I'm going to study engineering and take this course. But now with social media, you can go through online universities, apprenticeships, just so much, and it doesn't seem so one way now. Despite this, I wanted to talk about is fitness, and I want to discuss the fact that social media has changed the fitness industry as a whole. Imagine back in the 1970s, Pumping Iron just came out, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno, Frank Columbo, Mike Katz. That was the first time they were really on screen. This is the first time where mainstream audiences around the world actually got to see the niche at the time of bodybuilding. Obviously, Arnold now is a well-known actor, also being the governor of California.
Because I'm a stud, I'm ballsy, I don't take no shit from anyone.
And looking back at where he started, it's very strange. Obviously, when it came to the 80s and 90s, most of the big, brolic, muscular men were mainly seen in action movies, such as Commando, Predator, Rocky, or even Rambo, again, Sylvester Stallone. And it was a very rare sight to see. It was very exotic, and I gotta say, a lot of people were like, wow, I wish I looked like that, but can't. But then when it got to the 2000s and to this moment, bodybuilding and fitness in general just evolved drastically. We went from seeing these otherly godly men and women sculpt out of marble like they just came from Michelangelo's workshop or something, to now being seen everywhere on social media such as Twitter, Instagram, and even the platform you're watching this video, YouTube. YouTube is a social media, and there are a lot of hazards toward this. Starting my fitness journey around 3 years ago, I wasn't really big into the fitness scene. I knew what I had to do. I had to go to the gym, but I never really knew the exacts to lose weight or gain muscle. All I knew is that I had to train hard and just slowly grow and eat more. Obviously, I educated myself better as I did more of my homework and got in connection with my personal trainer and other people at the gym.
Walk the righteous path and forfeit your desire to be visually awesome, and instead lift heavy weight for the sake of lifting heavier weight.
Again, you just learn on the go, which I think is the best thing you can do. Now, with the term ignorance is bliss, there's a lot of truth towards that, because the less you know, the less it can hurt you. But now there's so much information out there concerning fitness from social media, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Due to the abundance of science and biomechanics, we think that if we do one movement wrong, we're going to lose the amount of gains we can actually make.
And you're looking at the squat rack and you're like, fuck this, man. I don't want to be here anymore. Just kill me. And God's like, no problem. Lightning. And you just absorb the shit. You're like, and you lightning him back. And he's like, yo. And you're like, yo. And he's like, yo. And you're like, yo. And like, are we related? And he's like, yep.
Well, back then, a lot of bodybuilders didn't really have that much science. They just did the movement and maybe a bit of the, Mr. O'Hearn, duck eggs. Obviously, they got bigger. But the one thing we forget is that the people we see on social media are the genetic elite. They are not everyday people. The fitness industry is still a small population, and having that 1% of that small population shown in our screens every day makes us think that, wow, what do I look like compared to them?
Basic.
Unfortunately, most people are going to have average genetics. They're not going to be able to look like Chris Bumstead, Ronnie Coleman, no matter how long they train or how much PEDs they use. And that's the unfortunate truth.
18 natty lifters you need to know about. And who's the number one natty in the article?
Oh, yeah.
And this stops a lot of people from getting into fitness or continuing their fitness journey. Or it may influence other people to dip into the dark arts, as you may say, you know, the Psalm Goblins, you know, Spider-Man. Despite me being called a Psalm Goblin, I am not. And I know that building muscle will take a very long time, especially for a natural person. The reality shown on social media is hyper-reality. Basically explains the fact that social media portrays a mediated version of reality. Because I'm sorry, no matter how many fitness influencers you see, that's not them 24/7. This is them with a 4K DSLR camera with good down lighting, or even dehydrated, being fasted in the morning just to have the skin go on the muscle a bit better. There are so many factors that making someone's physique look good that we don't know about, that it's very jaw-dropping. And now this comes in for the thing with me. Now when I see a lot of fitness influencers such as Chris Bumstead,
What is up, YouTube?
they have these amazing bodies, and unfortunately it's a human condition. We always strive to be better, and by seeing people that have better things, such as more wealth or maybe a better body, we strive to get that. But we don't even know that there are so many other factors that can lead us to different places concerning that goal. Genetics is a great player in how you're going to look once you start training. I'm going to be doing a video out of this, don't worry, and I can go for ages. You are not the genetic elite, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean you can't try and be the best you can be. Kind of like Schrodinger's cat. You know, there's a cat in a box. Is it alive or dead? You don't know until you open the box. It's the same with working out. If you never work out, you're never going to know if you have good genetics for muscle building. If you never do strength training, you're never going to know if you're going to be strong. That's the point. No matter what the odds, you should still try and better yourself. Especially with social media fitness, it's quite an umbrella term. It can span into strength training, bodybuilding, nutrition, but also it's going to mental health and wisdom and betterness. Now, when I talk about the red pill, it is all about self-development. Going to the gym is not enough. You need to develop mental qualities that are going to better you as a person in real life rather than just the gym. As much as I love going to the gym and talking to people and lifting some weights, I know that I need to better myself every day to have the best possible life I can. Even though I see a lot of people out there with material wealth, nice houses, cars, I definitely do want that, but I know I do not need it to have a happy life. Focusing on the future, stressing about what happened in the past, they're not really thinking about the present. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Mostugwe. Big tell, man. Despite my rambling, all I'm trying to say is that social media is not real. We see tons of the elite being portrayed because that's how they get famous, because they are the elite. Who do we see in movies? We see very good actors like Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, because they're good at acting.
I gotta add this to my Tinder profile.
As a young man, I need to understand that I do not need to be like everyone I see on social media. I just need to be the best me I can be, whether that be through going to the gym consistently, having a good diet, working hard and never getting complacent, and loving everyone around me with as much love as I can. Again, I love everyone. Why do you think I'm trying to get bigger? I'm trying to hug more people, man. Come on. Don't get tied down by what you see on social media, honestly, because it'll put you down a rabbit hole.
Please don't. I promise I'll be your man. I promise.
And now, as humans, we do this. When you start fitness, you are going to get body dysmorphia, but you can limit that to a great degree. People like David Lade, the aesthetic god, has now noticed that you need to do more than just go to the gym. You need to work on yourself and help other people. And I think that everyone should do that.
Look at what you're doing and just like look at how you're living and look at how you're operating. Dissect it as much as you can and be honest with yourself, obviously, and like look at it, genuinely and sincerely doing that, right? You're more than likely to realize style of like living is disadvantageous for your absolute best interest. And
eat, train, sleep, learn, repeat. If you can do that every day, trust me, you're going to be successful nonetheless. Have a good one, people, and I'll see you around.